Hi again. Welcome to PCL Rant 02, post COVID-19 live Rant 02. In the last one, we said that what a successful person will need post COVID-19 crisis will be in his or her life: 1. Love, 2. Beauty, 3. Scientific attitude, because that is our process, our method, our guarantee, or as close as a guarantee as we can get, to take us to the true understanding, the closest possible understanding of reality. So, love, beauty, scientific attitude. What more will we need? So before we go on, why don't we look at a couplet from Ghalib before we move on? So just give me a second. I haven't thought of it, so let me think about it. I'll pause for a little while. Right. So आज का जो शेर होगा वो गालिब के दीवान का पहला शेर है. The first couplet of Ghalib's complete works is Naqsh writing. Naqsh faryadi. Faryad, request. When you go and beg someone something, that's faryad. Naqsh faryadi, faryad करने वाला. Naqsh राइटिंग, फरियादी फरियाद कर रही है. किस बात की? यानी हर लाइन जो है वो फरियाद कर रही है. क्या फरियाद कर रही है? नक्श फरियादी है किसकी? शोखी तहरीर का. शोखी मिस्चीवियसनेस, शरारत. तहरीर द फुल राइटिंग. ओके, तो नक्श, एक लाइन, एक निशान, एक हर्फ, one letter. What is that begging you to find? Whose mischievousness is it begging you to figure out? नक्श फरियादी है किसकी? शोखी तहरीर का. Who is so mischievous that नक्श फरियादी है किसकी? नक्श फरियादी है किसकी? शोखी तहरीर का. कागजी है पैरहन. कागजी मेड ऑफ पेपर. कागजी है पैरहन. पैरहन ड्रेस. कागजी है पैरहन हर पै करे तस्वीर का. पैकर is the face, the countenance, the visage. Tasveer, the whole painting. So Naqsh is equal to Paikar, and Tasveer is equal to Tahreer. मतलब पूरी जो राइटिंग है, what is that begging you to find? Who is that mischievous person who has created this whole universe, specifically human life? That our life is like a flimsy piece of paper. This also has a play on a practice in ancient Iran that if you're going to make a faryad to the ruler, to the king, if you're going to go begging to the king, you wear a dress of paper, which is to signify that you're so close to dying, you're so close to ending your existence. So नक्श फरियादी है नक्श फरियादी है किसकी? शोखी तहरीर का. कागजी है पैरहन हर पै करे तस्वीर का. So today every face of every tasveer, every painting has realized that our life is hung by a thread. We are as weak today as a dress made out of paper. In COVID-19 world, this is so very apt. नक्श फरियादी है किसकी शोखी तहरीर का, कागजी है पैरहन हर पैकरे तस्वीर का. So whoever has made us, whatever has made us, it has made us very, very fragile, and it's about time that we realized our fragility and the fragility of this earth, which we have been like a virus consuming for our benefit. So either today the earth has come to us begging, showing that how its own paridhan, its own veshbhusha, its own dress is made up of fragile paper, that it can vanish in a heartbeat, and that we have to be careful of nurturing it, and the same way how we ourselves are as fragile as a dress made of paper. So who has been so mischievous that he or she or it has written this in its tahrir, in its painting? That's Ghalib. I'm sorry I can't take much longer on that. If I wanted to do justice, probably I would have gone on for another hour on that, but we don't want to do that. So moving on, we said to be successful, we, the successful people tomorrow, will need to be grounded in love, to be able to exude, radiate that compassion and love which will make life go on without hiccups. Because mind you, we will win this war with this SARS-CoV-2, but who knows, another virus might come someday very soon, which might be even more transmissible, and which might actually kill 100% of the people that it infects, and may be asymptomatic for 4 months or 6 months or a year. So game over, folks. Kaghzi hai pairhan. Remember that, right? So we need to have that love, that compassion, to be able to see the weakness, the fragility of our world and of our own lives and the lives of the people whom we share this earth with, and of other non-people creatures that we share this earth with. We have to be mindful of that fragility, and we have to have that compassion and that love towards them, and to be ready to receive that from others who are willing to give it to us. So love becomes the central theme in post-COVID life, as also beauty. Because if there is no beauty, what do you have to live for? Take away these three things: love, beauty, and truth. I don't think I want to live a post-COVID-19 life. I would rather die tonight, not wake up tomorrow morning, if I don't have these three things tomorrow in my life. So, specifically love of all types. All types. Not just the type that a boyfriend has towards a girlfriend, not just the type that mother has towards a son, not just the type that the daughter has towards the father, not just the type that the earth has for us. All kinds of love. and compassion, beauty, any kind of beauty. Beauty lies in the eye of the beholder. So respect others' sense of beauty. And third thing, truth, arrivable only, I repeat, only through scientific attitude, through scientific literacy. Moving on. What is going to help us get rid of this particular virus problem? There are many, many possibilities. One possibility is that it's an outbreak, it can end any time. We may not be able to define it, figure out why it happened, why it stopped. Two, the virus might be able to adapt to humans and might become less difficult for us. Third, we might develop herd immunity. That is, if a sufficient number of people get that disease and develop the IgGs for that, that is those kind of antibodies, those kind of that kind of immunity which will allow us to shrug off this same virus if it comes the next time around, to become immune to this, the ravages of this virus. We don't yet know how long the immunity will last and so on and so forth, but generally that is what happens. So either that might come in where sufficient number of us get immune to that, so even those of us who are not immune to it then get protected, because it's not going to spread. It won't have the jumping opportunities as it has today, where everyone is non-immune to it. So that could be that. We could find some medicines, some drug regimen. We could find some vaccine. We could develop some vaccine. Now that is something a lot of people are begging our success will be through that path, through our developing the vaccine for that. Now, a lot of those people are not scientifically literate, so I probably need to do a little bit of a refresher on what's a vaccine. So I'll do it now. And that tells us that one of the areas in post-COVID-19 life which is gonna find a lot of scope, it's gonna give a lot of jobs, is gonna be health studies, immunology, medico-technical things of various things of that kind, the medical technology and so forth. So it'll go by various names: bioengineering, genetic engineering, this immunology, whatever. So that whole gamut is gonna get a fillip, because we will realize that we are at a great risk because of any future viruses. So this is going to be a big area, a big career possibility for future. Now, all the other people also need to be scientifically literate, because otherwise we are going to hope for things that may not happen. So what's a vaccine? Vaccine is something which develops immunity within you before you actually come across to that specific antigen. Now, what is antigen? Antigen is something which infects you and which can harm you, some kind of a protein which does that. Now, there are three kinds of things which might harm you, right? So there is bacteria, there is fungus, and there is virus. Now, bacteria and fungus, they are living things. Fungus is something which is sort of a networked living thing, which is what you find if you keep the bread for too long. So you find those vines or those roots of fungus, they spread from one end to the other, and the fungus eventually grows all over the thing and then eats it up. So fungus is something between sort of I'm being very, very light, very, very non-scientific here. It's something between a plant and an animal. Bacterium is a proper quote-unquote animal because it's kind of a jantu which is complete in itself, which does metabolism, as in it eats and it grows and it reproduces or divides or whatever and dies. These are much bigger units, fungus and bacterium. A virus is a very small unit. All that is there in a virus is just the code, just the program which it uses some other cell's resources to reproduce, to replicate. It's like, it's not the building itself, but it's the blueprint of the building. So you can understand, right? You can have a building, and then looking at that building, you can make another building of the same type, but instead you could just have a blueprint of the building, and with that you can make many more buildings. So blueprint is much smaller than the building. So virus is much smaller than a bacterium. So it has that record is either as DNA or RNA, diribose nucleic acid or ribose nucleic acid. Now what happens is some of these viruses, they are enveloped, as in they are in some kind of an envelope. Typically that envelope is made up of some kind of a fatty substance, and inside you have that blueprint. Some are just the blueprint strung together and not having an envelope. This particular virus has an envelope which is made of oil, fatty substances. So just like when you eat food on a plate and you just try to put it under water, all the oil doesn't come off. What you need to do is to put some liquid soap or detergent or whatever on that, and once the detergent sort of becomes liquid, or once it sort of becomes a solution in water, then what happens is the soap or the detergent has one hook which goes into water and another hook which can go into oil, and then what happens is that oil and the water mix together, because in the middle you have this molecule of soap which is pulling oil from one side and water from the other side. So this is exactly what happens in case of the virus, that it goes and hooks onto some part of the skin and starts pulling it, and the other part goes into the water. So when you do that underwater, some part of the skin gets pulled here, some part there, and eventually the envelope opens and all the stuff inside just falls out. So it is no more in that kind of structure which can go inside you and then use inside you, as in inside your cells, specific cells, and use the mechanism of the cell to actually replicate, right? So that's all there is to this virus. That's why everyone says wash with soap, wash with soap, wash with soap, wash with soap, because it just pulls out that envelope and all the stuff inside that falls out, and it can no more be copied. That blueprint which is inside an envelope that falls out, and then it is no more in sequence. Some of it gets spoiled in the water, some of it falls out of sequence, and you can no more build a building using that. Okay, so that's there is to it. So what does a vaccine do? What a vaccine does is that it puts in your body some kind of a similar looking thing or a weakened virus, so that your body suddenly realizes, because it takes some time for the body to realize that this is something which is dangerous, and then develops those cells within our body who go and eat that up or kill that infection. So what is done in a vaccine situation is that some kind of a virus, some kind of a similar blueprint is put inside you, and put inside you in such a way that your body recognizes it to be an enemy and starts developing antibodies for that. Antibodies is those which go and hook onto that antigen, which is your enemy, and kill it. So the problem with any vaccine is that it can be so weak that it will have no effect. Your body will not produce any antibodies, so it's useless. You'll think that you're okay, but you're not okay. You'll think that you're safe, but you won't be safe. You'll do things which will make you at risk, and then you'll fall ill. Or it could be so strong that it could actually hurt you, right? It could actually hurt you. It could actually, those things themselves could start killing you. So therefore, that's the second thing. Third thing is that it could make such changes in your immune system that in future you might get screwed because of some other reason. So that's the reason why any vaccine has to be tested many times and very exhaustively. That's why it's first tested on animals. When it's found safe on animals, then it's tested on humans. All protocols are followed to make sure that it's actually useful and not actually of negative use, because it can very well be of negative use. Therefore, plus it is very difficult to make a vaccine. So for example, HIV vaccine, 30 years we couldn't make an HIV vaccine. So how do we know that we'll be able to make vaccine for this very soon? It looks like we might be able to, but then testing and all that has to be done. So that's what is vaccine. So remember, you have to make yourself scientifically literate if you are to fight this disease effectively, and if you are to be successful in post COVID-19 life. So that's my rant for today. Bye-bye.